753. Now, to the average person, they have no idea what this number means. How about a little hint? 753 BC. Still no thought? Well, if you focus on history, a thought may jump up to you. Because that's the year when one of the most influential empires in human history was created. I'm talking about the Roman Empire. You see, this is a 3-part series on the history of the Roman Empire. Now you may ask why I'm making it into 3 parts. That is because I think the history of Rome is divided into 3 important parts. Being the kingdom and the republic, since there's not that much to talk about in the kingdom. Yes, Rome had a monarchy once. And then you also had the Roman Empire, so from the time it was created to the time it divided itself, and then we're gonna look at the 2 Romes in another video. Okay, so with that I think we have everything set up, and now we can start with the video. At the center of Italy, on the river Tiber, a city was built. Now, this city was called Rome. In the year 753 BC, the Roman kingdom was born. Now, there's not much to say really. Most of the things that I have to say about it, I will say about the Republic. But the only thing I want to really go over is it had 7 kings, yeah? But in the year 509, they abolished the monarchy and built a republic. So why did they abolish it? Well, here's some reasons. The by far biggest reason was because the kings were tyrants and abusing their power. But also this led to an event where the Romans thought that the principle of a republic looked pretty attractive to them. And then we got the biggest event. How do I tell this on a family-friendly channel? The king's son got a bit way too comfortable with a Roman noblewoman. And after that, they had an uprising, and eventually the monarchy was overthrown in favor of the Republic. At this point, we're not just a little city, we're a power in Italy, you know? The only one in the year 340 BC. Because Rome has actually managed to, through diplomacy and conquest, rule over all of Italy. And 80 years from now, their first big test will come. During the time when Rome was still a small kingdom, Carthage was already a pretty powerful nation in the western Mediterranean Sea, trading with nations all over the Mediterranean and having one of the strongest fleets in the Mediterranean. And yes, I said Mediterranean 3 times. Now, after they had some tensions, a war broke out in 264 BC, and I'm pretty shocked that Rome didn't lose this one. Because at the start, Carthage had not only the stronger weapon, but also had more money, more experienced generals, and they had a naval fleet, a strong one, which Rome didn't have. They lost all of those advantages eventually. Now, they had to already lose a ton of land because of that, but it only gets worse, because in the Second War, they almost had everything and lost it. Yeah, and the Third War. Now, by the time of around 130 BC, Rome already looked like this. Now, this is pretty impressive, but how do you rule over all this? Because it does take a fairly long time to get there. Well, that's where provinces come in handy. Now, they kinda have their... It's like a US state, let's say it like that. And these were divided into different regions of Rome outside of main Rome. And trust me when I say that they really came in handy. Though slowly everything starts going just a bit wrong, yeah. There's some groups resisting, And well, this guy called Marius Garrett does reform the military that does help a potential collapse. It won't hold long. Now then we have to talk about Julius Caesar. He calls himself dictator, not king or anything, dictator. Yeah? And yeah, no wonder, he was an absolutely great guy, okay? He conquered all of Gaul, pretty great, and I think we're gonna leave it at the time he died with this map. Everything else will be covered in the next video, and with that, bye!